So during this big snowstorm, Lauren and I have been eating various things next to the classic British leftover hash combo known as bubble and squeak. And my favorite thing so far with bubble and squeak has been a big spicy mountain of Latin flavored beans. It may be culturally incoherent, but it'll warm you up. First thing, I'll get my beans soaking. This is a pound of red beans into plain water. Overnight is great, but even a couple hours soaking will cut down a lot on your cook time. Other thing I'll start in advance is this little pickled condiment I have in mind. I'll cut a shallot up thin, long ways like this, maybe looks a little prettier. Then I've got a serrano chili, hot but not super hot, simple rounds there. Maybe I'll chop up a little cilantro to put in, and if I'm going to juice these limes, I might as well take the zest off first. Okay, everything in, and then I'll juice in the limes. Throw in a spoonful of sugar, and if those aren't all submerged now, they will be as soon as everything starts to break down. Now for my beans themselves, I've got a big onion, chop it up, get it started in some oil. The rest of my serranos, slice up, in they go. And here I've got a pound of tomatillos, the tomato cousin that is the basis of salsa verde. Kind of tastes like a tomato crossed with an apple. It's going to break down while cooking, so I'm just clanking this up randomly to get it started. In they go with everything else, and we'll need to make sure that they get a good head start. I'll drain the soaking water off my beans, even though I'm really not sure if there's a good reason to do so, given the really limited public research on the topic of bean preparation and digestion. They can go in once the tomatillos look like they're softening. Cover the beans with a watery liquid. The only reason I'm using a carton of stock is because I have it sitting around. A big pinch of salt to start with. Pepper, cumin, oregano, and garlic powder is what I'm using, but spice this up however. Now we just simmer those until soft, a couple hours. Get a big pot of water for the British phase of the program. Bubble and squeak is traditionally a hash made of leftover boiled carrots, potatoes, and cabbage, all mashed together. If you want the carrots to be mashable, they actually have to get started before the potatoes, believe it or not. In they go first, and we wait for a minute. I should eat nutritious, high-fiber food like this every day, but like you, I live in the real world, and that's one of many reasons I take DSO1 Daily Synbiotic from Seed, sponsor of this video. You know, I'd kind of fallen off the wagon taking my daily Synbiotic, but my doctor put me on this medication that really disrupted my gut microbiome, as that medication is known to do, and my digestion was just really bad for a while. And then I started taking my daily Synbiotic, DSO1 from Seed again, and wow, have things improved. And there's a lot of reason to think that this contributed to the solution. Seed's DSO1 is a broad-spectrum probiotic and prebiotic formulated with 24 clinically and scientifically studied bacterial strains to support gut, skin, and heart health, among other things. Seed's patented ViaCap technology helps deliver live bacteria to your colon with no refrigeration required. I can throw a few capsules into the travel vial and hit the road, and I definitely have better gastrointestinal outcomes when I'm taking my Seed. Just go to seed.com/Ragusia, use my code Ragusia for 25% off Seed's DSO1 Daily Synbiotic. 25% off with my code Ragusia. Thank you, Seed. All right, time for the potatoes. These are Yukon Golds, but anything will work, and again, we're going to be mashing them so the shape does not matter. In they go after the carrots have had a good head start. This is Napa cabbage, probably my favorite kind. I usually just dig out the hardest part of the core and then lop off a lobe that you can then slice into little ribbons. This is probably more cabbage than most people would use, but I could use more cabbage in my diet and fewer potatoes, so all that goes in after the potatoes have had some time. It'll wilt down, you'll see. While I'm waiting, I'll chop up a bunch of fresh garlic. Not traditional in Bubble and Squeak, but I do like my food to taste like something. When the potatoes are mashably soft, I will drain everything thoroughly, melt in just a little butter maybe, tons of seasoning, the garlic, and then I will mash. Not thoroughly. I do not want this to become homogeneous. I was going to top this with smoked Gouda cheese, but I think that I'm going to put some inside as well. It'll help bind everything together, which is the role traditionally played by the potatoes, but I'm not using that many potatoes. Stir that up, have a taste, and adjust the seasoning as necessary. Traditionally, you cook this in a pan on the stove to brown the bottom, but honestly, it's easier to bake as a casserole into a buttered dish, smooth her out, and I'll top with the rest of my cheese and bake at 400 Fahrenheit, 200 C for 40 minutes maybe, until it's solid and brown. Beans look soft. Let me taste for seasoning. Need some more salt, just a little lime juice. I'm going to serve this with limes on the table. And beans really come alive with a little sweetening, and my sweetener of choice is molasses. Again, this is a weird cultural mishmash, and I think that's a feature, not a bug. The reason you put acid and sugar into beans at the end of cooking is because they will both slow the softening of beans by chemically reinforcing the pectin. You know, the top of that browned just great for me without turning on the broiler above. Nice. Like all casseroles, you want to let it cool and firm up for a little while before scooping. That's a nice solid piece. Scoop some beans on the side. I've got my lime and some cilantro and those awesome quick pickles on top. Absolute flavor explosion, let me tell you, and pretty healthy to boot. You don't have to use all that butter. Tastes like a whole bunch of European cultures colliding carelessly with the Americas, which I suppose is exactly what's going on here, for better and for worse.